to the show.
Hello.
Marks, and this is
Bryan. I'm Bryan.
Welcome back to another
was-
week. Regular season's over. What a whirlwind that was, right?
Yeah, very stressful, and I don't really want to talk about it as a Bears fan.
I almost forgot to play our theme song. I was so,
I was so
happy reliving the Packers Bears game the other day. No, that was it was a close game, like we thought it would be. It didn't feel like a close game. You said it felt like you were down 2 possessions the entire game. You weren't.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just listening to our theme song.
Shout out, Adam.
Shout out to Adam. We're gonna ask you to redo it for the Johnny Bark show. It's still our old title in it, but so it was a hard week as a Bears fan, and great week for Johnny. Great week.
I need to sink down to your level right here.
Maybe I should. Oh no, now I'm too.
You're fine. I'm making some punches now. Welcome in, guys. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Winterborn and Jodo. Bilal. Yeah, we'll get to that later. We have a great cast coming up, as you saw in the thumbnail, but we're just trying to recap now. Yeah, what do the Bears do now? Like, it's going to be a real debate. Is it between the fan base, between Fields and Caleb Williams? Because I mean, it's almost the appeal of a rookie quarterback restarting that contract before you have to pay Fields, who you're still not quite sure about.
Right, and I think people get hung up on the money portion. I don't think the money is the issue. It is an issue, but I don't think the Bears are worried about the money piece to it. I think they're worried about who's the best piece to the puzzle to win games, which is what every GM would say. But I think that's a legitimate thing. I think they legitimately are like, who would be the best, element in this team to take us to the next level? Would it be, continuing to grow with Fields, or will it be to start fresh with somebody else? And I don't necessarily think it would be Caleb Williams, or even I don't know if they would, think of a different strategy to. And I start saying that, and I'm like, okay, people are gonna be like, you're gonna trade up for Mitch Trubisky again. You're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna do these sort of things to pick the wrong guy. I don't know if it's that necessarily. I think it might be, picking a quarterback in an earlier round, but not thinking of him as a starter, maybe thinking of him as like somebody to develop with Fields, that type of piece. So I don't know. There's so many different avenues, and it's really frustrating as a Bears fan to sit there and watch all of it unfold. But
I feel like the stakes are, it's like a free for number 1 overall pick, so it shouldn't feel like it, but I feel like the stakes are so high because it almost feels like a lose-lose situation because then you're missing out on another weapon if you throw in Caleb Williams behind that O-line at number 1. You have another first-round pick, yes, but I don't know, man. It's a rough decision. It really is I don't know. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy for polls.
And you're happy. You're in a happy
state. I am happy. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about losing and like coping for a week.
You're set for a while too.
Great season for Packers fans. I don't want to just gloat, but yeah,
you can.
I'm just gonna enjoy this week while it lasts before we might get destroyed by the Cowboys, or we might surprise them. We'll see. We'll talk about it later on the show.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Let's no further ado. We're gonna introduce a guy, very talented individual. I think one of the most underappreciated folks in our space with the work he does. And I know, he gets credit a lot, but I don't think there's enough credit that can be given because he is a big part of the success of Brandon Perna, Mr. Writer, humorist, football extraordinaire, whatever you want to add to his title, Mr. Will Keys, ladies and gentlemen. Will.
How's it going? Let me get in the frame here. There we go. Oh, yeah, that works too.
Ooh.
No, we get a little more space. We like the vertical for me and Bryan. But we just give the whole picture for everyone. So.
No, this is good. Great intro, Johnny. It was zoomed in a little bit, and I'm going to be honest. I got lost in your eyes.
Oh no!
They're blue and piercing.
He's got very blue eyes.
I think the headphones, the blue headphones, were a conscious decision.
Blue is my color. I've liked blue my whole life. I was a red guy at first.
Yeah, I bet.
I switched over to blue. So, but no, blue is a very calming color. I think it matches my personality. I got the blue Red Bull here too. So.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
I mean, I just like blueberry flavor and all that, everything. So
let's paint that wall behind
you.
you.
About me. You're the guest here on the show. We got a lot of questions for you. But I met Little Dicky. I met Little Dicky, and that's the first thing he said to me. He said, "You have the bluest eyes I've ever seen in my life." I was like,
"It is distracting." It is almost distracting, but they capitalize on it.
Well, I hope that you guys are enjoying the show and not just encapsulated in my eyes, because we got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Because Will, man, you're really talented, dude. I think.
Thank you.
I was watching John Oliver's show the other day, and I don't watch his show much. I used to watch it like 2017. I think a lot of people forgot it's still on.
Yeah,
he had an episode on Elon that was really funny. I'm not here to talk about Elon though. I think like it's the same exact style, not the same exact style, but it's very similar. It's very drawn out from the Daily Show. That's where like a lot of people spawn out their ideas. What you do is like you write it like yourself, and then I mean, obviously you and Perna write together. It's just super impressive, man. I mean, this isn't even a question. I just wanted to say like it's just we have a whole bunch of writers and like production assistants and all that stuff, and then like you're just kind of writing and doing all the research on your own, and I just think that's super fucking cool.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean that's funny that you bring that up, because I think when people ask, and we were talking about this a little bit before, like what do you do, and you bring up the show, they're like describe it to me, and the elevator pitch is kind of like the Daily Show of football, and so you kind of do try to write it. And the funny, but like I never even watched those shows.
Yeah, really.
Like, no, I mean like I've seen John Oliver, obviously I've seen Jon Stewart here and there, Colbert, whatever. But no, it was like obviously Brandon had his thing for. I started watching him 2013, 2014, like pretty close to when he started. So I was just a fan. Like I was just a guy who enjoyed his videos and like slowly like kind of meshed together through.
So Will did give us the caveat that
a couple of
the internet
to the point where I was there we go.
All right, go ahead.
Where did you guys lose me?
You were talking about
20 minutes
you
ago,
were a fan
right
first.
after your introduction.
No, you were a fan first.
Yes.
And then
oh no, we got broken.
We're off to a great start. Anyway, internet pending. What I was saying is like I came in with the idea of like, or the mindset of trying not to screw it up, and I think that's still my approach.
Yeah,
is if I can add 1% of funny to the show, or 2% of like actual information, I feel like I've done my job. And the thing about like writing for Brandon, and maybe this is true for editing too, but you can throw out like a 4 out of 10 joke and he will turn it into a 7 or an 8 just based on delivery alone. He's just such a, I don't want to like dick ride or anything, but he is an excellent boss. Like he's an extraordinarily talented individual. And we're both lucky to work for him.
He's a showman. No, he really is a showman. Just the way that he can.
Yes.
I mean, so I've noticed this too. Like, and I've adopted this. It seems like that. I've kind of learned this from him. Like, he'll fuck up stuff, and then like when he goes back to fix it, he'll just make it funnier and add a joke to like layer up the fuck up. And like I'll fuck up something and edit like, oh crap, and he'll like add a joke to cover it up, and like it turns it into something brilliant that was like a mistake. And it's very cool to see that kind of happen.
Yeah. No, every little like slip up is like kind of an opportunity for him.
No, absolutely.
It's like sometimes I can write something like so stupid, and it just works out based on his delivery and timing. It turns into something, exponentially funnier than it should have been on paper.
Yeah, no,
that's where the magic really lies, I think. And I was saying this too, but like, you can look at all the graphs and the charts, but the channel really did explode. I think in the last year, the three of us joining forces.
It is a powerful force.
Yeah.
Bryan, Perna, but
too powerful. Well, yeah. Bryan too.
Bryan would be
like
Bryan also.
Bryan is my mental stability sometimes, especially last year when he was there the whole time when I was just starting and I needed someone to talk to. Bryan's a very good friend. But
yeah,
I wanted to ask you: is there like a certain? Because I was thinking about this today, like when the Bill news dropped. I thought I don't know how much you worked on that video. I don't remember, but that was one of my favorite ones we've worked on. I think that was a good team effort one. Is there like a favorite video you had that you've written, or one that you were really proud of, or maybe the first one that you were like, damn, this is so cool. I'm writing for a guy that I used to, watch.
Oh man. I would say the first one, not the first one, but the one that sticks out the most, because we've done so many videos over, what's approaching 6 years. But the one where I like had to like stop and be like, this is really cool that, I'm allowed to do this for a living, was probably like the first season review that we did. I'm not sure if you were editing that one, but this was 2007.
Yeah, that was the first one I did.
Yeah, 2007 season. And I just
thought video I did actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you could tell too, just because it came out, because you have a vision, I think, when you write it, and to see like not only that vision executed, but for Brandon and you to expand upon like what's actually there on the page is really fulfilling. And then just to like, I've always thought like there's so much, space in my brain that's like taken up by useless things I remember from like my childhood watching football.
Yeah.
And to be able to apply that and actually make use of that was very gratifying. And then for people to watch it too, for everybody who like sits down, and whether it's 5, 10 or 20 minutes, whatever time you have to watch the video, like that's really cool too. And the fact that, people watch and follow. And we just had a Patreon Zoom last night too. I know, Johnny, you've been on those before.
Yeah, I've been bad on those. It's been super busy this season.
Yeah. But, it's really like, to use the word gratifying again, to talk to some of the people too that watch us.
No, dude.
Because sometimes when you post something on the YouTube, it just feels like you're just sending it out into the abyss.
Yeah,
no matter like what the number says, like what the view count says, you just feel like you're just throwing it. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes. But to actually like see the faces and hear the voices of the people who like actually enjoy your content.
And it's the nostalgic lens that we all kind of watch those, especially those year of videos. Even just something like 2017 feels nostalgic now. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, remember where you were and kind of share those experiences together. That's what football is all about, baby.
Absolutely, yeah. And I saw the NFL is coming for our corner because and it's coming soon. They posted a postseason review of the year 2003.
Yeah.
38 minutes, and I watched it, and I was like, Jesus, this is so good. So it's time for us to step up our game a little bit.
I think it's a beautiful thing because when teams like embrace the social media side of it and put out more content, that just gives us more content to work with too. So I think it's not a bad thing by any means. I know specifically, I guess, talking about the NFL channel, but it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we are headed in a direction too where I think MLB was very, very slow to adopt social media and to use social media. Now they've embraced it. I think the NBA has always been kind of at the forefront of that. And it's only a matter of time until, and I've heard some things too, that the NFL is going to maybe partner with some YouTube guys or just kind of maybe not turn a blind eye, but
I think the problem is that they see it as like, they don't see that as community and like recruitment or like advertising. They just see that as, I'm trying to think how I say it. They don't see that as like getting new fans. They see that as like just recycling the same old. Like they're people that already watch us. They're not worried about it. That's why they are. Right. That's why they're working with the big Twitch guys and the what have you.
And they couldn't be more wrong too. Like I've talked to so many people, just like on our Patreon Zooms, like I said, or Twitter, whatever, where they've been like, I started following football because I was watching That's Good Sports.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tom Grossi. Like I couldn't have, I couldn't have cared less before, and I got into it basically via YouTube. And if they're like too short-sighted to see what kind of what that does for their fan base, it'll be their loss. But like, and ultimately, like, they're the most powerful league in I don't know if the world, but certainly the country. I never know what to make of soccer, but they don't need us. But we can help a little bit. Throw us a bone, right?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of like creating content and like socializing a sport, Will, you have your own channel. And when did you start your own channel? It's called Will Sucks at Games.
Yes.
When did that start, and what sort of inspired you to do your own channel?
That's a great question. I think it started probably a year and a half ago. And what inspired it? Nothing really. I think I just got bored. I got a little bored and just kind of wanted to try my hand a little bit and sort of teach myself editing too along the way. Like, I had gotten the like very basic foundations of editing from journalism school. Which I think it's just kind of a funny thing to say now that I went to journalism school. But it did teach me a thing or two. And, just kind of wanting to like, I've always considered, working with Brandon my primary thing. But just to like blow off some like creative steam, I think. And I think it wasn't really on purpose, but I'm glad I named the channel what I did, Will Sucks at Games, because it's just such like a great like built-in defense to someone being like, you're terrible at this. Like, yeah. What did you think?
Right. At the name it's in the title. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be mad.
You can't argue with me.
You're right. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. So I wish I could say that was on purpose, but like it turned out to be really good.
It's a good time. No, it's a good name. It definitely is. It's catchy. It's easy to remember. The other, I can never remember the second channel you made. It's the Built to Will. That's what it's called.
Built to Will. Yeah. That was a play on the rock band Built to Spill.
Oh, gotcha.
My favorite band probably of all time. But that one's lying in the that one's just waiting to strike. We'll get back to that one eventually. 2 videos on it.
Yeah. Both pretty good. Both bangers, but.
No, the work you did on the first one was like incredible. Did I ever tell you
that one? No, yeah, I showed that one off to like my family and stuff during the holidays.
No, that was incredible. And the guy who like made the movie like reached out to me.
I wanted to ask. So are those kind of like a big company influence from you, or any other ones besides like Shane Gillis and McKeever?
Yeah, for sure. Like they're great, and like I think obviously what they do with the Gillian Keefe sketch shows is it's beyond reproach. Them for sure. Yeah, they're great. Even going back, like humor, like it is such like a you were influenced by somebody kind of thing.
Yeah,
it never just like appears out of nowhere. I'd have to give a shout out to the boys at Comtown.
Yeah, let's go.
A great influence.
I didn't catch on to like right as they broke up like a year or two ago, and that's when I actually started really getting into the boys. But yeah,
I was blessed enough to be referred to them like pretty not early, but like like a few years ago. I think at their peak, and then I think with sports too. Like the first time I realized like you could talk about sports and not be deadly serious and treat it like world politics. I really like Dave Damashek
yes,
NFL.com and the NFL Network.
I remember watching watching his videos, the NFL videos, like when I was in high school, like over 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's great. He's still great. We've been lucky enough to have him on our show like a handful of times, and he couldn't be nicer too.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool dude. I know that you guys did some stuff with him, and I'll have to go back and re-listen to that.
The Rushmore, I guess, is Gilly, Comtown, and then Dave Damashek, as you all expected.
Fucking Ravens, yeah.
Yeah, fucking Ravens, dude.
I told Brandon if there's any way, and this was before he even really blew up with the Ronnie character this year. It was his last year. I was like, if there's any way you can get Stavi on one of the shows, I'd edit.
Yeah, we might have missed our window for that one. We might have missed our window for that one. There was a very clear window. And it is slam shut, unfortunately. Unless we catch up.
Man, I really should have just reached out to him myself, because that was when he just started his podcast, I think, too. And he would have been, yeah, probably.
And Johnny and I talk about that a lot, because we get a lot of random people on this show. We got Ken Bone, if you know who Ken Bone is.
Dude,
you wrote the script, yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was on. They mentioned him on. Perna mentioned him.
That's what gave Bryan the idea to hit him up.
That's right. Okay, so you were the one that inspired it, actually.
wait, what did I write that inspired it? I read so much.
It was a 2016. It was a 2016 video.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know you were the one that inspired me. So it's such a weird backstory, but I had reached out to Ken Bone probably 4 or 5 years ago to do something when he was really famous.
And he's a St. Louis guy, right?
Yeah, he's in the Illinois side of St. Louis. So. We got a nice comment for you real quick. Hey, Will, huge Broncos fan and fellow local Kings fan. Be bitching to meet you. Gillis has been killing.
I can always make time for a Broncos and a Kings fan. So yeah, slide in.
Special combo, right?
Gilbilly.
Right on. So and so the whole point of I just would reach out to people randomly on Facebook, and I'd be like, and it was Facebook, because Facebook's actually that sweet spot of there's people on it that are starting to use the internet that were semi-famous a while ago, but they aren't really comfortable using TikTok or anything, Instagram or anything like that. So I've been using Facebook, and we have a really special guest coming up on February 1st. I'm not going to give away that because we're going to do some promo stuff, but it's the biggest guest we've had. And all of our guests we've had have just been me reaching out on Facebook.
Random. It's just random
and people are like, yeah, sure. But yeah, I guess Stavi would be somebody that we've probably missed the window, but again, catch back up, and you might be interested in grabbing some fans over here. So
also Adam Franklin or Nick Mullen. That'd be fine too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ken, though, to go back to Mr. Bone, I don't know when I wrote that episode, but I did dress up as Ken Bone for Halloween.
Really?
That's amazing.
Not this year, but the last.
That's incredible.
So I maybe that was just kind of sticking in my mind a little bit. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg there.
We're gonna have a fantasy football league next year. We're gonna try and get Ken Bone in our fantasy league.
He's planning on being in the fantasy league.
We're gonna join his wiffle ball fantasy league too. So.
He does wiffle ball fantasy.
He's very active. I don't think that's a thing, but he's very active in the wiffle ball community. His dad was apparently a pioneer in wiffle ball.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a wiffle ball Hall of Fame. You put some respect on his name, damn it.
Yeah. So we're trying to do some more stuff with him because he's just a really interesting guy and really cool guy.
A folk hero,
yeah. But yeah, no. So as far as creating content goes, and I've just been Johnny dropped your name a few times, and I had gone on your gaming channel and I was watching a bunch of videos, and I really like your not the backyard. Shoot. I'm blanking on it.
He's done every video in every game. You just name.
Yes. It was the NFL one where they're really aggressive to each other. What's that called?
Oh, Blitz the League.
Blitz the League one. I like that one.
Oh, thank you.
And I was watching them today at work because I don't do actual work in my work, but yeah. So I really like that, and you have a new subscriber. And if anybody's on here and hasn't subscribed to Will's stuff, definitely subscribe. But
hi, Jory.
Hey, there's Jory. No, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm working on a longer one right now. So if anybody's wondering why I haven't posted in the last few weeks, it's because I'm very slow at editing. But the next time I do post, it should be over an hour long. So hopefully that.
Oh man,
nice.
It's okay to take your time on those. Those it's normal for those to be slow. So.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be long. Will it be good? I don't know. That's the real question. But sometimes I have heard that the hour-long videos are very, very good for the algorithm. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let's try out some of those on the That's Good Sports channel too. That ESPN was a killer, but man, I think there's think I learned some things on how to do long content. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I see like, and there's probably a limit that I don't want to hit. Like I have not watched it. I'll preface it by saying this, but like, there's like this 6-hour long video.
The plagiarism one?
Well, he does the history of like iCarly.
Oh, that one. Oh my God. That's so.
And just the fact that someone would dedicate what was probably months, if not years of their life to that video. If that's not like Minority Report pre-crime, I don't know what is. But the juice has to be worth a squeeze there, because why else would you make a video so ungodly long? But then you have like the plagiarism video too, which like apparently a ton of people watched.
That was only 3 hours though. Only 3 hours.
Yeah, it was like the same. It was like Killers of the Flower Moon, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
maybe it was.
Yeah,
maybe it was long.
And I just skimmed to make sure like, my name wasn't on it or Brandon's name wasn't on it, just to be sure, because you never know.
Well, Jaguar Gator 9 did one about this other guy from, I don't even know his name.
Right.
There was some NFL drama too. It was just about one guy. So
yeah, I think I did. I did like click on that video, and then I clicked on, I don't even remember the guy's channel, but I clicked on his channel and he was live streaming and people were asking him about it. And he was being like, did the whole like lions don't bother themselves with the opinions of sheep.
Right.
Or, however that saying goes. Like
something Andrew Tate. I don't know.
Yeah. The ginger something or other, I think.
So what is there anything like, do you think about the future and like kind of where this is going in that sense, or do you kind of just try and stay the moment and just kind of enjoying it where it is? Or do you?
Yeah, I think I do
kind of
think
a
about the future a little bit sometimes. I think we all do. And for a long time, like the goal or like the vision was like TV.
Mm-hmm.
Or I know like Brandon and I were kind of in the early days, we were like, let's find out like who can buy this channel basically, or like let me take this to Barstool or something. And it's like a good thing that never happened, because
it's like not the world anymore. It's interesting to see that. Not to talk over you, like the people from TV are trying to do what we do now. Yeah. So like this is like the cool thing that we grew up thinking TV was a cool thing. It's just interesting to see how like both sides are trying to get on the other. Like the McAfee's going to ESPN, and then ESPN's all their personalities trying to start their own podcasts, and like it's just something that
it's like at a certain point, like you ask yourself, like, what is the difference between this and TV? It's like not much.
It's just like corporatized. It's independent, really.
This is free.
Yeah, and it's a great revolution, I think, and there's like still like, there's still great television out there. Obviously, like beyond scripted TV.
All right,
but I think the shift is like very clear, and people are, are making that known. And
I mean, you said yourself earlier, like everyone has YouTube on their TV now, and it's just like
that's like how I watch that. Yeah, it's like either I'm like on YouTube TV for sports, like live sports, or I just like hop on the YouTube app, and that is TV now, really.
Yeah.
And
I pay for like
more independent,
Hulu, HBO, and Netflix and all that, and I probably just watch YouTube more. So.
Yeah, of course, and I think to like answer your question a little bit better, I think like the next step is probably some sort of coordinated collaboration between all the big sports channels at some point. To have like some sort of headquarters, I think like an actual physical headquarters would be really cool. Or to just have some sort of like conglomeration to the point where we are very corporate and there is an HR department, and everything you write and say has to go through 15 different people before it can go on the air. That's the dream, really.
That is the dream. Really. I love micromanagers and telling me to adjust one thing that I could have adjusted myself.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think the collaboration between if there's a way to really do it where we can make it work. It's just everyone's so tough on doing their own thing, but I think if there's like a really something that can unite everyone to kind of work towards like a not like give up without giving up their own individual stuff. I mean, it's just
yeah, and and who knows what that looks like at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it's headed eventually.
I just wish. I mean, Barstool. I'll give them like all that they got. They built something incredible over there, but something more inclusive for like the people that's not for. I think would be cool. That's all.
Yeah, there's like, there's territory. I think that's where no one has planted their flag yet, and like the Barstool, like the just like the ambition, I think is really commendable. And it's definitely not for everybody. But like that sort of like growth and planning is like something to look at and be like, maybe we could do something like that.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's cool to think about, but
I like the Jomboy Media. They did the same thing essentially.
Yeah.
But and they approached it differently. Like they focusing on the sport of baseball. And now you can see that they're growing into other sports, but seeing them think of it like, okay, we're going to stick to what we're doing, like this type of content, and we're going to add people that bring in new voices to sort of help bolster their own thing, and then add some unique pieces to it. And it was never ever a thought of like, what's the next move to, it was more just like, let's just improve on what we're doing. And I think the Barstool Sports side is like, what's the next move? What's the next big thing to get us in the headlines? That's how they grew, where Jomboy was very much like, let's sort of, plant our stake in the ground. They sort of gambled on themselves, and it worked out really well. So, I mean, that would be cool. I mean, I don't know what you guys are up to. I'm just sort of like,
no, absolutely. I think it's a great example too. I think to go beyond like just Barstool, even though that's kind of like the poster boy for sports media.
It's such a good model, but it's like of what to do and what to not do at times. I feel like,
yeah, for sure. And then I like wonder like, how do you get like people like us who are essentially like hermits, who work from home, and just like. I don't know about you, but like I spend most of my waking hours inside my house, outside of the occasional walk outside to get just an ounce of vitamin D. But if we could ever talk people like that out of, into coming into an office, like the bound,
I know that's the dream. I know that's what Perna wants to do one day, like the GPS studios. It would be dope, but
it would have to be
I hope that's possible.
The thing. He would just get
agreeing on his place to live is the hard one. And Perna's like, I have a kid, so we have to. Everyone, you get to move here. So
we'll see about that.
Right. Let's move on to some more football stuff, though. So, I just want real quick, Broncos. I just want to ask you about Broncos. Is it kind of just? Is the mindset just like trust? Sorry, I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm just trying to get your perspective because I don't want to assume, and this is just the feeling I'm getting. Is it just kind of like have faith in Sean Payton at this point and see hope something good happens? Or
I think I do have like a reasonable amount of faith in Sean Payton, and I think too like he's earned some faith. Like what he did this year, going from a team that was like totally broken and 5-12 and like the laughing stock of the NFL. And obviously that carried over into this season too, starting 1-5. And, I don't know if there'll be a darker day than giving up 70 points in Miami.
Yeah.
But like to rebound from that and to, get 8 wins, which like, doesn't sound like a lot to a Packers fan, but that's the most wins we've had since 2016, which is very troubling thing to say, but that's worth something. And the fact that we were in a position, at least week 18, to have a winning record didn't work out, obviously. But that was, I think, cause for optimism. And it gave Sean Payton, I think, a little bit of, he deserves some faith, basically.
No, I agree. I think what he's done with some of the young players, like you're getting rid of the veterans of what you think should be like core guys that you need in the locker room, but your team's getting better. And I think that's a testament to like the young talent that is on the team that Sean Payton does believe in. And I don't know, it's a completely different team than it was last year. It just wasn't. You wouldn't tell by the records that it was that. I mean, I guess it was what three wins last year, something like that, 5 wins. But yeah, I think he's definitely demand respect, and I give him shit on Twitter or whatever, troll him for the 7-9 shit that he had with the Saints. But like, no, he's a good coach, and especially in a year like this, it'd be rough trying to find with 8 other teams looking for a new coach. That's not the place you want to be right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even like. I never blinked at the fact that we gave up a first-round pick to get him. Obviously, it'd be nice to have a first-round pick, but
it was a late first-round pick. It's not.
Yeah, it was kind of like a house money pick, like you guys were talking about.
You just traded Chubb for him, who's going to leave anyways. Like, yeah,
it's like when you acquire via trade, you're like, well, I can just do anything with this. It doesn't really count. If it works out, great. If not, like, wasn't really ours to begin with. So that was the Bradley Chubb pick, and we flipped that into Sean Payton, plus I think a second rounder. So people forget that. But yeah, the impact of a coach, like a Hall of Fame caliber coach, versus a late first round pick that may or may not pan out. Like I'll take that deal every time. I don't even think about that. But I'm also someone who, like, obviously the Russell Wilson trade didn't work out, and that's putting it mildly.
I mean, it could have set you back a lot further than it did. I mean, I think all things considered.
Yeah. Well,
not okay on top of it.
I was like, I'm still okay with the process over the results. Like, we were stuck, and we still are, in quarterback purgatory. Going from, it's like the Browns jersey, basically. It's turning into with all the names on the back.
Someone's got to send you Perna one of those,
Yeah, but like searching for someone post Peyton Manning, there's just like a new guy every year, and they're like, screw it, we're gonna swing for the fences here. And people, I think the Peyton Manning, not trade but signing, kind of skewed our expectations of what it's like to bring in a veteran quarterback. Like, it's not 100% likelihood that he's gonna work out.
Right.
You take a big swing, you might miss. And it turned out to be like a bottom 2 trade in NFL history. But I'm like, okay, what was the alternative? Sticking with Drew Lock for another year?
Yeah. I mean,
like, that's how you guarantee you suck. Like, you might, like, you can take a swing at Russell Wilson, and if it turns out he's bad, okay, but at least you tried. And so I don't fault them for trying. Maybe it would have been better to go for Matthew Stafford a year earlier, but
that's all hindsight, man.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. And we'll jump into if you want to jump into the next thing. But I think people don't realize, like, GMs have a face. Like, they need to be communicating certain things with certain decisions. Like, they can't have a gut feeling. They can't have it's a political position. So they almost have to do certain things when opportunities arise. And that's the fear, I think, in certain fan bases. I'm thinking selfishly, like a Bears fan, where, you're almost required to pick Caleb Williams to a lot of people. And it's based on the situation that, you pass up on Patrick Mahomes, you pass up on Deshaun Watson, you pass up on Trevor Lawrence, which, who cares at this point? But are you going to pass up on Caleb Williams? Like, is this the organization that's going to keep doing that? And so I think that's something that, as a GM and a front office person for the Broncos and all these teams, you sort of forget the aspect that it is a political position and not like somebody, being very sneaky with all of these. I mean, they do have a whole staff behind them, but they are trying to, have some sustainability in their job and job security and the job security of the people that they hired. So,
yeah, absolutely. Like, you're trying to get reelected, basically, except and not every 4 years, but every year.
Right.
100%. Like, you're campaigning to keep your job every single year. And no, like with the Bears thing too, and we don't have to stay on this for too long, but like sometimes when you miss on quarterbacks so often, like our teams have, and Johnny, you're excluded from this conversation, obviously. But
Mute
when
yourself.
you miss over and over again, like you start to have this, like the doubt creeps in, like, is it us? Is it just us, or do all these quarterbacks just suck?
Yeah,
Like,
we need a
could
support
anybody
group.
work here, or are we just not a breeding ground for quarterbacks whatsoever? But I would just I'd keep at it. I'd I would, if I were the Bears, like I would take Caleb Williams or Drake May and not think twice about it.
All right, there you have it.
There you go.
There's the answer.
But also, I think.
Hey, shut up, Johnny.
One more thing, because it is interesting, because the Broncos, a lot of Broncos fans, and I think Perna was heavy on the. I guess I could just ask you: were you a pro Justin Fields guy at number 9 the other year? Obviously, Patrick worked out pretty darn well, but
yeah. So I wasn't at first. Watching him play at Ohio State, I was like not particularly. I wouldn't say I wasn't impressed. Like, he's an impressive guy. I just wasn't convinced, I guess, that he was a top 2 quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out like Zach Wilson jumped up to number 2, and then Trey Lance was number 3. And so so it turns out maybe he was a top 2 quarterback. Yeah. But like I knew like about Fields for a long time just because he was on that at Peter Berg show. Yeah, QB1. But by the end of it, like by the end of the draft cycle, I'd kind of talked myself into like, okay, well, if he's going to fall to 9, like maybe we should just pull the trigger here and do it. And that was a weird day because there are all these like Aaron Rodgers rumors floating around.
You're telling me,
right?
Yeah, at the same.
That's supposed to be a normal draft.
And so we're like, okay, well, we're taking Patrick Surtain. Is that just like a placeholder? Did the Packers tell us to draft Patrick Surtain?
That was a stupid man. Now I'm bringing it
up. But that wasn't like out of nowhere either. It was like a Schefter tweet too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was there was a Denver guy, Mark Schlereth, that was like, Rodgers to Denver is done deal. So we were like, we were just waiting every minute for like the news to drop. And
that was a very confusing day. I think you're probably glad that didn't happen.
I mean,
he did win an MVP like that season.
Yeah,
it was much ado about nothing, really. All that Rodgers drama because he ended up leaving anyways.
Right.
It was like those 2 years, those 2 MVP seasons were fun as hell, man. We were so damn good that year. The offense was so damn good, but at the end, it was heartbreaking for the 49ers both years. So,
classic.
Obviously, I don't want to be ultimatous and be like, oh, it was pointless, but man, we could have got like 3 first-round picks for him if we traded him then. So, like.
That is true.
Maybe Love isn't ready then, and he's not the quarterback today. He doesn't, and we break his confidence. But that's hypothetical. But like, I don't regret it. No, but that trade value would have been nice though. But I'm still happy with what we got from the Jets. So.
I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to be too bold here. I think Aaron Rodgers might have worked out better than Russell Wilson. I'll say it.
He probably would have.
I think he might have been better.
He actually might have worked with Hackett too.
Had he stayed healthy, yeah.
Do you think? Because now that doesn't make. Do you think Hackett was a Rodgers like poll, or do you think they were? I mean, I know that he was like a wanted head coach, and everyone wanted to give him a chance. But do you think that's why because Denver connected?
I think you'd be naive to say like that wasn't a part of it for sure.
I mean, I didn't doubt it. It's like when the Jets hired Rodgers or when the Jets hired Hackett to kind of get Rodgers too. I was like, okay, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, we all know like Rodgers is like, I don't know if that's the word you'd use, but like fiercely loyal to his guys. But like he does have his guys, and to like make him happy or placate him or whatever, you do have to have some combination of like Randall Cobb, Nathaniel Hackett, and Jake Kummerow around at all times if you want to keep him on an even keel.
And it was an obvious choice. Again, we talked about what's the obvious thing to do there. He's worked with Aaron Rodgers. He has this relationship with him. So it would make sense for them to do that. Even without Rodgers' input, it would make sense.
Yeah. It just turns out he's the worst head coach of all time.
Right.
It happens. It happens.
Urban Meyer, though, is two different
Sure.
sides of the spectrum. Hackett and Urban Meyer. I think I'd rather have Hackett on my team.
Yeah, I would probably take Hackett over Urban Meyer.
So at least I don't have to worry about off-field issues with him.
Yeah,
The dance
imagine
club.
Nathaniel Hackett kicking Brandon McManus in the leg.
All right, we're gonna
Make your damn goals.
take some picks here. We'll make Will
Have to zoom in here
and make him do some
Okay.
picks. So before we start, are any teams that you're like high on? Did Perna write the whole? Because I worked on that yesterday. The bandwagon team episode. Did he write that, or did you help with that?
Bandwagon was that was both of us. Yeah.
So are you a Bills guy, or did he just inject that in there? Are you a Bills guy?
He's definitely a Bills guy. I do have a soft spot for the Bills and the Lions too. Maybe not, to the extreme that he is, but I would be happy to see either of those two teams win for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was actually a Bills fan when I was like the first 5 or 6 years of my life, because my dad is a Cowboys fan, and we had like the Super Bowls on cassette. And so like my other brother would pop him in there, and I'm like, he's for the Cowboys. They're both for the Cowboys. So I got to root for the Bills. And man, I really was hoping that he would win one of those times.
Yeah,
watching the same VHS plays.
Maybe they're
that's
going to win
funny,
this.
though, that isn't Tom Grossi's dad also?
Yeah, that's like that was
Cowboys
funny that we
fan?
had such similar stories. That's
Oh,
why.
interesting. Wow.
So,
I root for the
both,
same team as my dad, so I don't know. Maybe that's a strange thing. Maybe I just have a good relationship with my father.
I want to talk about it. This is football time. I'm very excited. All right, Texans or Browns? Let's start with the AFC.
Yeah, I think
That's
I'm
a
going to
tough
go.
one. I think everyone's picking the Browns.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Flacco here, specifically Flacco.
Okay.
I agree. That's who I have.
And I like that. I like what that sets up in the next round too.
Yeah, unless the Dolphins or Steelers win.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're taking favorites though.
I will be taking the Chiefs here. Yeah,
I would love for the Dolphins to. I would love for the Dolphins to win, but the way they've been playing, I just don't see it happening at all.
Yeah, it's going to be. They're saying it's like dangerously cold on Saturday too, which I don't
not
think
good for those speedy runners.
Yeah, I don't think that helps the Dolphins necessarily, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great frame for him to freeze. Sorry, buddy.
Screenshot.
That's kind of a. Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take the Bills.
Bills, yeah. Dude, I think if there's an upset, I think actually the Steelers might be the one.
Really?
I keep an eye on the Steelers. They have some bullshit working for them.
They do have like some sort of. They have made some deal with the devil for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how they made the playoffs.
Like Tomlin doesn't lose.
Tomlin's legit. There's like rumors that he might step away after this year. That'd be weird.
Seems like the year.
Everyone is, yeah.
Yeah.
Knocked down Will Ford to like number 6 on the longest tenured head coaches.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Sean McVay soon.
Yeah.
I actually like the Bills here.
Bills, me too. I think I have the Bills. I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl actually. Ravens or Browns? God. I think the Ravens. If anyone takes down the Ravens, I think it could be the Browns because the AFC North is just.
The Ravens are so good this year, and their schedule's been so hard too. It just hasn't mattered. So I have to pick them to win a playoff game for sure.
Lamar is playing out of his mind, and Harbaugh is like a really underrated coach. Everyone's talking about Jim Harbaugh, but like John Harbaugh is top.
Yeah, he's the better coach, I think.
Yeah, 100% too.
By a little bit.
And let's go to the NFC first. Before we go to the championship game. 49ers, they win automatically, actually.
I'll pick them in the bye week.
I thought that was a good, accurate pick. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Bucks and Eagles, Monday night. Is anyone going to watch this game? I feel like we're all going to be tired of this.
This is – I hate this, by the way. Like, I love the 1 year that they did the 6 games in a weekend. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And now they're tinkering with it. They're putting a game on Monday night, and they've got a game on the cock that no one's going to be able to see.
The worst game, one of the worst games too. Like we watch this battle. It's gonna be like 3-6 or something like that. And
I do think the Eagles will win though.
I like the Bucks there, but we'll. I don't know.
I could see either.
They were 11-2 at one point, and now they didn't even win their division. That's crazy.
God,
Lions Rams. That's a tough one, man. I really could see that going either way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the Stafford aspect to all of this. Man. Here's the thing about the Rams. Like, I think if the Rams won this game, they could get to the Super Bowl. Because to me, like, they're the only team capable of beating San Francisco.
Niners, yeah.
But I'm just gonna take the Lions. Why not?
Got to go with house money there, yeah. Man, it's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be an insane game to watch. I wish that wasn't right after the Packers game because I'm gonna have to do work right after the Packers game, and I'm gonna miss like the first quarter.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a great game. Packers Cowboys. You picked the Packers, right? Yeah, they're gonna win.
You know what? I've gone back and forth on this one too, but the tough draw for them. Obviously,
it's tough to play in Dallas, man. It's gonna be really hard to play.
Yeah, I think this will be a shootout, though. I think this will be a really high scoring game.
I hope so. Yeah.
And I think you guys will lose, but I think you will come away feeling very good about yourself, if that's possible.
I appreciate that. No, that's what I predict. I think it's gonna be like when we faced the Niners like a couple years ago when we in the NFC Championship when they ran for like whatever yards. Like we knew we were not the better team, but we put up a fight until Ripkowski fumbled.
Yeah, I think it'll be like you'd be like, okay, yeah, our season's over, but we're so sure that we have the guy now, and they have a little bit of playoff experience. So
I do like. I might have to put some money on them. I legit might put some money on my Packers because they came through last week.
There you go.
All right, Cowboys Lions.
Whew. This one's tricky. I think the Lions get their revenge.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And like, who am I to pick the Cowboys to advance past the divisional round of the playoffs too?
Right.
That's their yearly. They get one win as a treat, and then they get to go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Just one win as a treat. Niners, I'm assuming.
I will be taking the 49ers. Yeah,
they will. If they play the Eagles, they will fucking destroy them again. They do not like each other.
That want revenge too. I know they beat them in the regular season very handily, but
they want to send them home for good.
Yeah, if they get another shot at them in Santa Clara, like, it could be bad.
It'd be an ugly game, especially with the way the Eagles' defense is lately, man. God.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go back to the AFC.
Right.
Ravens, Bills.
I am gonna go Buffalo all the way this time.
Let's go.
I think the Bills. Yeah, God, it just doesn't feel right to see their name.
It doesn't. I'd be really rooting for Josh Allen too. I think that'd be
absolutely
ridiculous this year. He's been like no one, like barely anyone gives him credit for MVP just because his team isn't like the number one seed.
But
he's been playing out like he has the most touchdowns by far, total touchdowns if you add up rushing, passing. So
it is strange how we just as an entire league and like media, fans included, just decided all right, well, Lamar Jackson's the MVP now.
It is. It's weird just because I don't like how it's just like the best quarterback on the best team. Like I get it, he's not deserving of it, but like there's plenty of other names that deserve to be like heavily considered too. Like Josh Allen.
Yeah, you could definitely make the case for Lamar. I think especially like in the spirit of being valuable after the Mark Andrews injury and J.K. Dobbins going back to week 1. But like Dak's just as good, I think.
Yeah.
Dak and Josh Allen.
Dak just had a bad game at the worst time and on prime.
That's what it comes down to. Is like if you have a bad game on prime time, especially, like people are just like, well, that's over. Brock Purdy. All the advanced stats for Brock Purdy are like, I know Dorktown did a video on it, but they're like through the roof. They're like it's one of the most efficient quarterback seasons of all time, but he was bad on Christmas. So what are you going to do? Anyway,
it's weird. I hate like feeding into the narrative sometimes, but it's easier to follow for casual fans, but I hate feeding into it. All right. 49ers Lions. That would be a very good change. That would be a really good game.
I'm going to go with my local team, the San Francisco 49ers, to advance to Super Bowl 58.
Yeah,
40.
I don't know.
That
If,
again.
I don't know if anyone in the NFC can take down the Niners because they've been playing ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely think the Rams are the only team that can do it. But they got to get there first, and
I agree.
That's gonna be tough.
I agree. That'd be a good matchup. Who would you pick? 49ers or Bills?
I've got in a close battle, I've got the San Francisco 49ers.
Bills lose again. Poor Bills.
Set off a string of 4 more consecutive losses.
Poor Bills fans. No, poor Mark Miller, man.
Who's there? Yeah, Mark Miller. A tough break for that guy. Who's the Bills kicker? Is it Tyler Bass?
McLaughlin, I thought. Or no.
McLaughlin's on.
It was bad. I thought you got hurt.
Maybe. Whoever it is, if the Bills are in the Super Bowl,
it is Tyler Bass. Never mind.
Make or miss, I do want to see it go down to a game-winning field goal or a game-losing field goal.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think that's either just complete vindication or absolute, heartbreaking torture. One way or
I
another.
don't think the city of Buffalo could handle that, dude. I really don't.
Yeah, it might just dissolve as a city.
Maybe a triple doink would be,
a triple doink for the Bears. Yeah, that could do it. I think if there was another wide ride, especially, I think Canada would just annex Buffalo and just take it for their own. Be like, these people they've been through enough.
My hot take is I think that Brandon Aubrey has a Brett Maher moment in the playoffs, and the Cowboys lose it because of their perfect kicker. Full Vanderjack. He goes full Vanderjack.
Well, I was relieved for him that he actually missed.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault, and he got to just it was blocked. It counts, but
but he had one blocked. I think he did miss one.
Oh, he did miss another one too.
Yeah. After that, which is the best thing that could happen to the Cowboys, I think.
No, you're actually right. Yeah.
But there's
no announcer jinx. Yeah,
the spirit of Brett Maher is still very much alive, I think, in Dallas.
Well, we'll pull up mine and Brian's predictions. Brian has.
Yeah, so you could see I have the Rams going all the way, and I have them stopping in the NFC Championship with the 49ers. And that's partially because it's I think they've seen a lot of each other, and I think the 49ers are a more suitable team to in that situation. But I do think if any team is going to beat the 49ers, it would be the Rams in that situation. And then so in one of my brackets, I have the Browns going to the Super Bowl and beating the 49ers. I think it's because and we talked about this. Do you remember when the 49ers, when I was getting really mad at somebody in our fantasy league, Johnny, for not starting Justin Fields over Brock Purdy?
Yes.
When they faced the Ravens, I was talking to him all week. I was like, you need to start Justin Fields because Brock Purdy sucks against good defenses. and they were like, no, Brock Purdy's getting 25, 30 points a week. He gets, I think he got 4 or 5 points that week.
He lost his playoff game because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think, in this situation, Ravens and 49ers, which obviously, 2 number 1 seeds, I think the Ravens they have a too dominant of a defense. And you could say the same thing about the Rams. You could say the same thing about the Browns. I think if the Browns or the Ravens are in the Super Bowl with the 49ers, I think the AFC team wins.
Yeah, this looks like this probably is the most plausible outcome.
I agree. I hate just defaulting the number 1 seeds in the Super Bowl, but yeah. They're very heavy favorites.
They're the 1 seeds. Yeah, and they not only are they the best team, they only have to play 2 games to get there.
I will say Browns and 49ers would create a disgusting uniform matchup. I feel like that'd be so ugly on the TV.
I don't know. I think that could be good if the 49ers are wearing.
If Browns wear white, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I don't like the Browns uniforms. That's all.
Well, there's some
combined
good
with the maroon would look weird. That's all.
there are some good uniforms, I think, in these playoffs.
Everyone but the Browns has good uniforms, I'll say.
Interesting take. Well, the Rams.
Except the Lions' gray uniforms look so dumb with their like blue helmet.
Yeah. It's so easy for them. To like the '90s ones. I mean, you can say this about most teams, but their '90s uniforms were really great.
Yeah, they need to bring back that aesthetic 100%. Like I can't remember who it was, but someone made a whole video on it. It was really, really good. It only had like 20,000 views though.
Yeah, I mean, Packers Cowboys is like the iconic uniform matchup.
No, yeah, that's
in the NFL.
I'm assuming it's going to be green. Like Packers will get to wear green too, since Cowboys are home. So yeah. Let's go on to my bracket. I get to talk about my team. Are you surprised? Hey, if you don't believe you can win, you know why I watch the games, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking. I think we can legit shock the Cowboys. And send that'd be poetic, man. Like the Packers get McCarthy fired again. And then why stop there?
Go for the you beat the number 2, go for the number 1.
Right? And then if you can beat the 49ers, you can beat the Rams. No, obviously that'd be cool. I got a little crazy with it, but Packers and Bills would be a fun Super Bowl matchup too.
So you got the 6th and the 7th seeds meeting each other in the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
Yeah. When the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2011, they were the number 6 seed, and they snuck in after beating the Bears in the last week. So, just saying, some parallels there.
My dog is barking. I think she's upset at your prediction. Clearly,
I understand.
Yeah.
No, well, we appreciate your time, man. It was great talking with you. I said I was going to keep you on for like 30 minutes, and we went on for an hour. So I really appreciate you, man, coming.
No, man, it's great. I had a great time. Bryan, great to talk to you, meet you, and Johnny, as always. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, dude. Everyone, thank you. Give Will a big dub in the comments. We love Will. We love Will.
I love you
MVP
guys.
right there. He's the real MVP for Perna. All right, we're gonna kick you out here, Will, and then we'll end the show. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for coming, Will.
Sorry. Oh,
have a good.
We're good.
What was that? Oh boy.
But how about those Packers? I believe it. I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cute to see that, Johnny. Like I think that's really cool that you have
Their uniforms aren't even brown anymore. They're orange. Make them brown.
But yeah, honestly, like you take away that whole side of the bracket, the Packers side, and have the 49 replace the 49ers with the Packers there. And I think that's a legitimate, like that'd be a very plausible thing to have. That'd be a very plausible. You should do that for your bracket, for your other bracket on ESPN.
I actually, honestly, I think we win. If I'm being like really confident, I think we beat the Cowboys and lose the 49ers. I think that's what you just said, right? But
yes, that's basically what I was saying. I think, I could see the Packers winning against the Cowboys, and then losing the 49ers. But I won't. That's not what I'm betting on. But, I said this before on the Grossi episode, the Browns being a sneaky team. That's not because, I was trying to do a hot take. When you watch the Browns defense and you watch the crazy things that Joe Flacco can do still, it's like, it's bizarre. Like it's bizarre that they're doing this with this team with like a third, fourth quarterback in the mix. Like
without Chubb too, without Nick Chubb.
Without Chubb. Yeah. Their run game
the best running back in the league when healthy. Yeah. It's really impressive, man. And that's why Stefanski's like already guaranteed to get coach of the year. It's very impressive, man. It would have been cool for them to like win their division amongst all that, because then that would really like boost their chances to get to the Super Bowl. Being able to host people in Cleveland and outdoor football in January would be really cool for Cleveland. But I mean, technically they could. So if they beat the Ravens and then like the six, actually I don't think they can. Well, it has to be possible, but I can't remember how. They'd have to play the Bills or the God, I can't talk. My brain said they'd have to beat the Dolphins or the Steelers would have to also get to the AFC Championship, and then they would host it.
Mm.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, let's think past that. UFL, United Football League. That's coming up after.
It's not a real thing. You can't tell me that's a real thing. I don't believe that's
a real thing. Spring
It
football.
sounds like the generic version of the NFL in like a movie. Like,
I kind of wish it was XFL still. I kind of wish it was the XFL still.
It's just great value.
UFL's coming up. We've been in touch. I say we. I've just been emailing these people. I've been emailing some people about creating content with the UFL, specifically the Battlehawks, and then potentially getting some stuff on Johnny's channel, having Johnny come to a few games, get some videos made. That's down the road. That's some ideas we have, and we also have a very special guest. I'd be okay with announcing it, but I don't know if we want to do it
let's not do it yet.
We're gonna wait. Very special guest, the beginning of February. Stay tuned. This guy is like, well, I just gave a clue. It's a guy. Very cool guy. Somebody I just messaged on Facebook randomly that I didn't think would respond. He did respond, and he was very down to talk with us. So, and again, it's not a sports guy. So, something stupid that
Yes, we're gonna be rocking.
But something to stay tuned for. And Johnny, do you have any final words? Any thoughts?
I love you, Mom.
All right.
I thought are you gonna kill me? You said final words.
Final words for the pod.
No, I'm excited for a good weekend of football.
Yes.
I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I don't have anything to say, really. Nothing deep.
Okay.
We did do our fantasy things. I didn't even prepare them, so that's good.
Oh, no, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
We're doing a contest, so you pick. We'll talk about if I win. How about that?
You pick one player from one of the playoff teams,
yes,
and you make a fantasy team with it, and you have like 4 teams.
I'm actually curious to see your team. You should actually screenshot it.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Next week. Maybe there's some time next week. But no, I would love to talk about. We want to talk about more creators, some awesome people like Will. So we gotta get some good guests, some guests you're familiar with, some you're not, maybe. So, no, I thank you guys, every one of you. We have 40 people in here. We appreciate you watching. Man, it's really cool to be able to have an outlet like this. And I appreciate Perna letting me put this on his Broncos channel. And I appreciate you guys watching, of course. So we're gonna skedaddle. No Thursday night football tonight. Isn't it nice to not have an obligation to watch football 4 days a week?
Especially if it's your job.
It is my job, but it's a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like you have a day
just
off.
Watching Bears Commanders isn't exactly how I want to spend my Thursday nights all the time. But
you're not cool.
That ended up being a fun game. DJ Moore went crazy in that game. That was actually a more memorable Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but folks, we appreciate you. I've been Johnny. He's been Bryan.
We'll take her easy.
We'll talk again later. We'll talk about next week, 6:00 Central Time.
Bye.